right, under contacts, when you're under this smart list tab, any list you've saved will come up right here. And you'll always have this all list, which is just all your contacts. I preload these two lists into the system for you, but you can create as many lists as you like. So over here, this more filters is where you can filter down your list based on a lot of variables. So as long as we're under the all, we can go to filters and you can see there is just a lot of variables. So for instance, let's say you wanted to see all your contacts that lived in a certain city. You could click here, type in the city name, and then it will pull up all your contacts in that city. And also, if you were to create a custom field yourself, here, you'll notice that that'll show up in the filters. You can just search for them here and you can filter by that. So it can be really helpful for a lot of things. You'll notice these right here are bulk actions. So let's say that you are running a campaign, like a Facebook campaign. You could filter for that, get a list of all of the leads that came from a particular campaign, and then you can export those. Or you could add a tag to all the people in that list, or you could email all the people in that list. Another nice thing here is you've got these columns, but you'll notice this column drop down here, you can add other columns. And these will be in alphabetical order to help you find them. And again, if you create new fields, they'll show up in your columns. So let's say I wanted to have relationship in there. You notice I clicked that on and now it's here. There's a lot of times where this will come in handy, but to show you some good examples, let's just go over these two lists here, and then I'm going to show you how to build your estimate callback list, just so you can get an idea of how this works. All right, so if we go to this new right here, you'll notice that there's this little 1 right here, which means that it's just filtering by one thing. And if I open this up, you'll see it's filtering by pipeline stage is leads new. So let's go ahead and look at how we'd create that. If I go back to all, I'll click on filters, I'll start typing pipe, and I'll go to this pipeline stage and I'm gonna go to leads, and then I'm gonna go to new. Press apply, and now it's showing me any contact that has a lead under this new section right here. You can see there's only one, and that's why it's showing me that one. So anytime a new contact comes into the system, it will create a lead and put it under new. So this list will have all the new contacts in there. Now when you organize them, right, if you say that, hey, this isn't a lead, this is a solicitor, you'll see it removes it from the leads. So now if we go back to our list, there's nobody in there. So this new list is designed to always have the list of everybody that's new in the CRM. You can quickly go through, categorize them, call them if they're leads, and you want to clear that list out. Now the lead call list, you'll see there's 7 different filters here. So I'm just going to go ahead and recreate this lead call list to show you how it works. So let's go back to all. I'm going to come here. Again, I'm going to start typing pipeline stage is leads, contact attempted, apply. So there's no leads in the contact attempted. There's none here either, but let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to say or pipeline stage is leads, never messaged back, apply. I'm going to do the or again. Pipeline stage is leads, contacted, follow-up needed, apply. So for this column would be all the leads that you have actually gotten a hold of, but for whatever reason, you need to get a hold of them again at a later date. And the easiest way to put somebody in that category is under the contact in the fields, there's this asked to be contacted later date. If you just put in a date here, it's going to automatically move them to that stage in the pipeline. But let's say that they ask you to contact them a couple months later, like, hey, I'm going to be traveling, give me a call back middle of August or something like that. So we actually wouldn't want to see this lead until August 15th, because this list is supposed to be all the leads that we need to be pursuing. And since we shouldn't be contacting them till in the future, we don't actually want to see this lead. So what we can do is we can say and then I'm going to search for that field asked to be contacted at a later date. So you can see we've got some options here. We've got is empty, is not empty, and we want to see everybody that's in there that does have a date, but we want to make sure that that date has already happened or is in the past. So it can get confusing with less than and more than when it comes to dates, but more than would mean number of days that has passed since that date, and less than would be the opposite. So we want to see any that are where the date has passed. So if you actually put 0 here, it would show you all of the contacts where that date has passed. But we also want to see if the day is today. So you'd actually put -1 here. So we can see today and anywhere the day has passed. So I'm going to press apply. Now, what about the contacts that we got a hold of them, but they said something like, hey, I'm cooking dinner right now. I do want to paint. Can you give me a call back later? And you're like, okay. We don't necessarily need to put a ask to be contacted later date, but we still would put them, say here, in the contacted follow-up needed, because we did get a hold of them and we just need to follow up with them again. So for contacts that are in this category but do not have a date, with this filter you actually wouldn't see it because it's saying only where there's a date in there and it has passed. So what we actually want to do is say or, and we do the pipeline stage leads contacted follow-up needed, apply. But this is going to show us, again, everybody, even the people where the date is in the future. So I'm going to say and asked to be contacted later date is empty. So this one is saying anybody that's in this stage and does not have a asked to be contacted date or that field is empty, show me all of those. And then also show me people that are in that stage and do have a date there, but only show me the ones that have a date that is either today or has passed. That's what this and filter is there. And then there's one more, so I'm going to say or pipeline stage leads, and it's this reschedule previously set estimates, apply. So these filters here are what makes up the lead call list. And as you're doing this and filtering down and creating a list, you'll see at the bottom it says save as smart list. So you can click this at any time and you can give it a name, press save, and now you'll notice it pops up right here. And you can actually edit these lists too. You can see it's the same 7, but I could come back here, I can go there, and I could change something. Like let's say I got rid of this, and then I can say save as new or just save. So save as new would create a new one, like example 2. If I just press save, then it just updates this list and saves it so that that last filter is no longer there. So when we look at this lead call list, we're looking at any leads that are here, meaning we haven't gotten a hold of them, but we're still trying to get a hold of them. This is unique for if you're using like a messaging system like Yelp and Thumbtack. Sometimes you don't have their email or phone, but you're messaging them through the software and they just never message you back. They're there, just letting you know, continue to try to get a hold of them. Contacted follow-up needed means that, hey, we did get a hold of them, but we still need to call them back or reach out to them again. And then reschedule previously set estimate would be you set the estimate and then for whatever reason they canceled. Maybe they're like, I have a baseball game. So you're still trying to set it up again. It's just letting you know that, we have set it up already. And then this last stage is unresponsive. Now, when you decide to put a lead into unresponsive is up to you. Typically, I try to make sure we've tried at least 10 times to contact them, whether that's phone call, text, or email. And I don't actually include the unresponsive in the lead call list. And the thought process is, after I've tried to contact somebody 10 times and they don't get back to me, I feel like it's not worth my time to continue to follow up with them. However, you can watch the follow-up automation training video and you'll know that if you put a contact in this unresponsive stage, the system is going to automatically follow up with them once a week on your behalf. So you don't have to think about it. It'll just continue to follow up with them until they reply. I don't think it's really worth your time to be calling them, but you do want to, continue to follow up. You'll convert a few out of there, or hopefully after, 10 emails or whatever, they finally get back to you and say, hey, I'm no longer interested, so you can move them out of this column and into one of the lost categories. All right, so now let's look at one of the callback lists that I use with my company and show you what the filters are. So the first filter is, hey, anybody that is Justin. Justin is one of my estimators, so this is Justin's callbacks. So we only want to see estimates where he was the estimator. And then this next thing here, you can see it's the pipeline stages estimates and it's under think about it. And then this next one is saying any contact that is not currently, so it's is not active in the estimate auto follow-up. So you can watch the auto follow-up video to learn more about that, but essentially there's 3 follow-ups: your unresponsive leads, your estimates that are in a maybe stage, like think about it, And then also it'll just do a reminder text 24 hours before your estimate. It'll send out a text reminding them that you got an estimate scheduled for tomorrow. So in this list, we're saying if they're active in the auto follow-up, we don't want to see them because those are taken care of. We're going to follow up with those people. And then this last one says tag is not message scheduled. So it's saying I don't want to see anybody that has the tag message scheduled. So the reason for that is a lot of times we're going to put our estimates into the estimate auto follow-up. But there are unique situations where you don't want it in the estimate auto follow-up, but you still want to just go ahead and schedule the follow-up to happen so it's just done and off your to-do list. So if you look at a contact and you want to communicate with them through like text or email down here, you can actually schedule that message to go out. So an example would be you have an estimate, they're in the estimate auto follow-up, the system is automatically following up, and then they reply, like let's say they text you back, and let's say they're like, hey, Susan, who's on the HOA board, gets back into town on Friday, and she's going to decide then. And you don't want the generic estimate auto follow-up message to go out. You want to write a custom one. What we would do in that situation is we'd write out a custom one, and then we would actually schedule it to go out on that Saturday. So it's just done. You don't have to like remember on Saturday to send a text or an email to this person. You just schedule it now and it's done. But you want to remember, hey, this person has a message scheduled. So the way we do that is we add the message scheduled tag. That way we know like this contact has a message scheduled. So I know that's a little bit to wrap your head around, but if you think about it in terms of what we're doing here is we're saying, hey, I only want to see people that are not going to automatically be followed up with. So I'm looking at all my estimates that are in Think About It, but if they're in the estimate auto follow-up, I don't need to worry about them because we're going to follow up with them. And if they have a message scheduled, I don't need to worry about it because they're going to get reached out to. So the people that it is showing are people that are under Think About It that are not going to get a message. And it's usually the people in here are people that responded. So if they're in the estimate auto follow-up and they respond, that kicks them out of the estimate auto follow-up and we'll put them on this list. There's also an automation that says, hey, if a contact has this tag, message scheduled, and they call, email, text you, they reply, send the user, whoever is assigned to that contact, a notification letting them know, hey, this person just reached out to you and they have that tag message scheduled, which is helpful because back to that example, let's say Susan was going to be back Saturday, but then whoever you were talking to emails you on Friday saying, hey, never mind, Susan's not back till actually Monday, her trip or flight got delayed or something. You would want to change when you're going to send that scheduled message. Or maybe they get back and say, hey, we went a different direction. You'd want to cancel that message scheduled. And you can see we just repeat this where we have other estimates that are not in this and don't have a message scheduled. And then we also have did not have all decision makers. So when Justin comes to this list, he knows these are the most important people, or that these people are not going to be automatically followed up with, and they're people that he's given an estimate to that have not given him an answer. And you don't have to use this system with the message scheduled. It's there for if you want to. I'll show you real quick. Test, custom message. I'm going to schedule this. Send schedule, just to show you what it looks like. You'll see it has this schedule down here when you do a scheduled text or email. And let's say that you decided you wanted to cancel this and not send it. You click on these three dots here, go to details, and then you press this cancel send. You'll get this pop up and you can cancel sending that email or text. All right, so when you make Smart List, you'll be the only person that actually sees it. But if you want to share it with others or have your whole company see it, you can actually go to this Manage Smart List here, and you can rearrange them in the order that you like. You can also come here and copy it, and you can delete it with this trash can, but right here is where you can share. So it'll show all the users in your company, and you could just say, hey, I only want, John to see this, or Susan. Or you can click share all users and make it a global list, which just means that it's shared with all the users. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. All right, so hopefully that gives you a good understanding of Smart Lists and how you can filter out so many different things to create a list of people that you want to see. You can also, in opportunities, filter. So you've got this advanced filters here, and it's very similar. You can filter through your opportunities. Also, when you go into list view, you can do this manage fields, and you can move things around. So you have your column set up the way you want. You can go into like estimate info and say, hey, I want to see everybody with the follow-up date. I want to put that in the front like that. And then you can filter things down. So you could say, hey, I just want to see all the estimates with the estimate done date for the last 7 days. Apply, show you how many are there right there, which is nice. There's nobody in here because this is a dummy account. And again, you can keep filtering down just like you can on the contacts page. And then also just like you can there, you can export those contacts into an Excel file. All right, so that's Smart List and how they work.